Welcome to Moonrakers, a deck-building board game for 1 to 5 players. In Moonrakers, players compete to become the leader of the outlaw coalition known throughout the galaxy as the Moonrakers. Before we get started, make sure you set up the game according to the rulebook on page 7 through 9, or watch the Moonrakers How to Set Up video. To win the game, a player must score 10 prestige points, establishing them as the leader of the Moonrakers. Prestige points are earned by completing contracts or by completing objectives. The amount of prestige earned by completing a contract or objective is represented by a diamond icon found at the top right of contracts and secret objectives. Prestige points are tracked using the ship markers on the dispatch game board. If you haven't already, deal out 3 objective cards from the objective deck to each player. Read the cards and choose 2 to keep, storing them face down under your command terminal. Return the discarded objectives to the bottom of the objective deck. Each objective card is worth 1 prestige and describes a unique goal that must be met in order to complete the objective. When the goal is completed, the player immediately reveals the completed objective card and adds 1 to their total prestige on the prestige tracker. On each player's turn, they have 2 options: stay at base or attempt a contract. We'll talk about attempting a contract first. Contracts represent different missions you and allies may attempt. The more difficult the contract, the greater the reward. Players may choose to attempt a contract alone on their turn, or may try to convince other players to join them as allies. There are 4 different types of contracts: explore, delivery, kill, and rescue. On their turn, a player may choose a contract to attempt, and even invite others to join them as allies. At all times, there should be 8 contracts face up next to the dispatch board. Along the bottom of each contract are the requirements for completing the contract, showing some number of damage, shields, reactors, thrusters, and crew. The icons correspond to cards in each player's action deck. In order to complete the contract, the player and any allies must play an equal or greater amount of corresponding action cards to the requirements listed. For example, to successfully complete the probe recovery contract, the player and any allies must play 3 reactors and 2 thrusters. Next, the bottom right shows the number of hazard dice you must roll when attempting the contract. Hazard represents the things that could go wrong on a contract. For example, the Rival Pirate Gang contract requires you to roll 2 hazard dice. Hazard dice are rolled immediately after choosing a contract, and negotiating with allies is complete. Each hazard dice has 3 potential outcomes: 2 hazard, 1 hazard, or no hazard. The total hazard rolled counts directly against your overall prestige tracker, so be careful when attempting contracts with multiple hazard dice. Each point of hazard rolled by the hazard dice can be countered by playing shields. In the top right, you'll see the rewards for successfully completing the contract. First, you'll see the prestige. This applies directly to a player's prestige on the prestige tracker. Next is the amount of money rewarded, which are called credits. If you are awarded credits, grab them from the armory and place them somewhere on your shipboard. Credits allow you to purchase ship parts to upgrade your ship and hire crew members, which we'll talk more about later. The last type of reward is a bonus card. The receiver of the bonus card takes a card randomly from either the top of the ship part or crew decks on the armory board. One of our favorite aspects of Moonrakers is the player interaction that comes from forming temporary alliances. Most contracts, especially at the beginning of the game, are too difficult to attempt alone. When selecting a contract on their turn, players may invite any number of allies to help fulfill the requirements on the contract. For example, on this contract, 1 player could play 3 reactors and 1 shield, and their ally could play the remaining 1 reactor and 2 shields to successfully complete the contract. Before attempting a contract with allies, there is some negotiation. All rewards and hazard dice must be split ahead of time between the players. This often plays out as a back-and-forth negotiation between all players attempting the contract. Each player starts with the same 10 action cards. 3 reactors, 2 thrusters, 2 shields, 2 damage, and 1 miss. The starting deck is also displayed at the bottom of each player's command terminal for quick reference. The action deck represents the actions a player's ship can perform while attempting contracts. To begin, each player shuffles all 10 starting action cards together and places them face down to the left of their command terminal. This makes up the draw pile. Before their turn begins, each player draws 5 action cards from their draw pile into their hand. We are now ready to attempt our first contract. I'll choose Supernova Escape and place that in front of my command terminal. In order to complete this contract, I'll need to play 2 shield cards and 1 thruster card. I'll also need to roll 1 hazard dice. I rolled a 1. No problem. I needed to play some shields anyways to complete the contract. Each turn begins with 1 action available to the player. An action allows me to play 1 of the action cards in my hand. If I run out of actions, my turn is over, even if there are cards remaining in my hand. In general, it is always best to play a reactor first, which gives me 2 more actions. I have 1 in my hand, so I'll play that now. I've spent my 1 action, but have gained 2 additional actions from the reactor. Next, I'll play a thruster. A thruster card allows me to draw 2 more cards from my draw pile into my hand. This thruster card also successfully fulfills the thruster requirement on the contract. Now we just need to play 2 shield cards. Playing the thruster cost 1 action, so I now only have 1 action left. Luckily, I drew another reactor, so I'll use my action to play it, giving me 2 more actions. To complete my turn, I'll play the 2 shields in my hand, successfully completing the contract. By playing a shield card, I also blocked the 1 hazard I rolled from the hazard dice. Because I successfully completed the contract by playing 2 shields and 1 thruster, I collect the rewards, 1 prestige point and 2 credits. If I had not been able to play 2 shields and 1 thruster, I would have failed the contract and not received any of the rewards. Next, I take all of the cards in my hand, as well as everything I have played, and place them face up in the discard area to the right of my command terminal. Then, I draw 5 cards from my draw pile into my hand to make up the hand for my next turn. If at any time you do not have enough cards to draw from in your draw pile, immediately shuffle the cards in your discard pile. These cards become your new draw pile. I'll continue drawing until I have 5 cards. To finish my turn, I enter the buy phase. I started the game with 2 credits and gained 2 more credits from the contract I just completed. Now I have 4 credits to spend. There are 2 types of cards I can purchase: crew cards and ship parts. The cost of each can be found in the bottom right corner. There is no limit to the number of cards I may purchase on my turn, as long as I have enough credits to afford them. Ship parts are installed on my player terminal. Each ship part provides a permanent bonus to your ship, and also adds action cards to your action deck. You can only have 4 parts installed on your ship, but you may replace them if you wish. I just purchased Swarm Mk1 for 2 credits. It added a miss and a damage 2 to my action deck from the supply. The special ability allows me to discard a damage 1 from my hand and gain 2 actions at any time on my turn. Crew members act just like action cards. When hired, they are added directly to your action deck discard pile, and when they enter your hand, they require an action to play. Each crew member has a special ability, such as contributing to contract requirements, drawing additional cards, or gaining additional actions. I just hired Bill Bendo, which cost me 2 credits. This completes my turn. Now it's Alex's turn. Most contracts aren't quite so easy, and that's what alliances are for. Alex is planning to attempt Escape Pods, which requires 3 shields and 3 damage, with 2 hazard dice. Like many contracts in Moonrakers, Alex won't be able to complete this on his own, so he asks if anyone would like to join him on the contract. Players may invite any number of other players to join them on contracts to help fulfill their requirements. Before we get going though, we'll need to negotiate the split of the rewards and who will roll each hazard dice. This contract has 2 prestige, 7 credits, and 2 hazard dice. Alex offers 1 prestige and 3 credits to whoever will join him, and stipulates that whoever joins must roll 1 of the 2 hazard dice. We could haggle back and forth on the deal, but for the sake of time, I'll accept. To begin the contract, we roll our hazard dice. Alex rolled a 2, and I rolled a 1. Players attempting a contract may decide who goes first. In this case, Alex will go first. Right away, Alex is off to a great start. He has the Titan 3000 installed on his ship, subtracting 1 shield from all contract requirements. Now only 2 to go. To begin, Alex plays a reactor, and then follows it with a thruster, drawing 2 more cards. Next, he plays a reactor, and finishes his turn out with a shield and a damage. Not bad. This leaves 2 damage and 1 shield for me. To begin, I play a reactor, and then follow it with the crew card I purchased earlier, Bill Bendo. Bill negates 1 hazard, and also subtracts 1 shield from contract requirements, which is perfect for this scenario. He also gives me the option of +1 card or +1 additional action. I look at my hand and realize I have no damage cards in my hand. We need 2 more to complete the contract, so I choose the +1 card, hoping for a miracle. It's a damage 2. I use my remaining action to play it, and we have successfully completed the contract. Per our agreement, I gain 3 credits, and Alex gains 4. We also both gained 1 prestige. I successfully blocked my 1 hazard with a shield, but Alex was only able to block 1 of his, so he loses 1 point of prestige. Alex would now enter his buy phase, and play would continue with the player on his left, which is me. If you don't want to attempt a contract, possibly due to having a bad hand or bad friends who won't ally with you, you can stay at base. If you choose to do this, you receive 1 credit for defending the base, and can draw 2 new objective cards, one of which you choose to keep, returning the other to the bottom of the pile. You also may optionally discard a contract and draw another to replace it. When staying at base, you may still buy at the end of your turn. After doing all of this, discard your hand to the right of the command terminal face up, and then draw a new hand. Here are a few additional rules to keep in mind. Some contracts require crew members to be played, which are represented by this purple icon. At any time on your turn, you may pay 1 coin to move any contract, ship part, or crew to the bottom of their respective decks. And to close us out, some helpful tips. Forming alliances is at the core of the game. Ally early and often to get a leg up on your opponents. Have a bad hand? Try to ally with someone to get rid of the bad hand before your turn. Each player begins the game with a miss, which only serves to clog up your deck. Keep an eye out for ship parts and crew cards that allow you to trash a card, allowing you to remove the miss card permanently from your deck. Your action deck is a delicate ecosystem, so be careful to not buy too many ship parts of one type. If you're not careful, you could end up with too many damage and shield cards and not enough reactors to play them. Now you're ready to play. If you have any questions about how to play the game, please hit us up on Facebook or Board Game Geek. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy playing Moonrakers.